Vision in racing is one of the key elements to make any driver fast. It helps you improve out of corners, into corners, getting on the power with braking. It all depends on where you're looking on the racetrack. And a lot of drivers don't necessarily think too much about it, but the professionals and all of the top guys are just naturally looking at the right places. They've been doing it since they were quite young. They may have been trained to do it, but it's usually something you adapt over time. However, if it's something that you think that you need to improve on, then this video will definitely help you.
First apex, second apex is our priority.
I'll take you through a quick scenario on where to be looking through a corner when coming into a braking zone, turning in, and then also on your apex and exit. So we'll go and look at that now. So here we can see a pretty basic corner with your entry, apex and exit. You've also got your braking zone. We won't be looking too much at that. We're going to be mainly looking at sort of where the vision is through this corner. So you can see here now I've added the car and I've added 2 circles. So the car coming into the corner, he's in the braking zone. He's now going to be looking into the corner. However, a lot of new drivers or novice drivers, or even sometimes experienced drivers, will be so fixated on what's going on just in front of them, hence these 2 circles. They'll be looking just in front of the car, or they're looking slightly into the corner, but they're nowhere near looking through the corner enough. Now I've added on a circle where the driver should be looking. As you can see, they're looking into the apex, they're looking into the corner, they're getting that gauge. And what that does is it means you're looking into the apex nice and early. This helps with the positioning as you're going into the corner, and it also helps with the gauging of the speed, you know, carrying that minimum speed. You've already gauged where the apex is. You can see, okay, do I need to reduce the speed slightly to get to the apex? Do I need to start, you know, coming off the brake to allow that minimum speed to roll through? And that's going to really help sort of just carrying that speed mid-corner and allowing to then bring that vision up, looking for the exit. Now the car's made its turn into the corner, we've already identified where our apex is. We don't need to be looking at the apex anymore. We now want to be bringing our vision up and looking towards the exit. What this does is this is going to make sure you're getting more information on when to get on that power. It's going to allow you to feed that power in exactly the right time, not rush to it and get the oversteer maybe on the exit, or maybe even understeer, and not be late to the power and losing time out of the corner. It's going to give your brain that good gauge on when to get on that power and when to feed it in coming out of a corner. A good example of this is shown with this onboard camera. As I come into the corner, you can see I'm looking into the apex and bringing my vision back over, looking into the second apex, and now I'm looking all the way through the corner for my exit. And once I get to my exit, I'm already looking down the road. A great way of looking at it that I was taught is if you're driving along a dark road at night with your low beam on, you're probably going to be driving a bit slower. You can't see down the road. You know, there might be something in the distance you're not aware of. Whereas you put your high beam on, you can see a lot further and you'll naturally just bring that speed up because you have more information coming to you because you can see a lot further down the road. And your eyes will work in a very similar way. The more information they're given, the more your brain can process, the more you're going to react to what's going on. So here are some key takeaways from what we've looked at so far. Excuse the rubbish handwriting, but I think these are the 3 key points when tackling a corner and thinking about your vision. One really good way to train vision is on simulators. You can obviously do it without any risk. So you can look, as far through a corner as you want, really, without, sacrificing any driving. And the more you do it on simulators and, kind of use them as training tools, the more you're going to get used to that kind of feeling, and it will transfer then into the real driving world. However, in motorsport, things can always change, and this is a perfect example of that. Now, I'll be looking into the corner here, but you can see in front an incident happens. Now, luckily, nothing was really too dangerous there, and it was quite out of the way. However, I did have to adjust my vision to then adapt to see what was going on, to make sure that, I wasn't going to join the collision. 9 times out of 10, a driver will look at a collision and, you kind of go where you look, right? So they'll end up adding into that problem. So I hope this has helped give a little bit more of an insight into where drivers should be looking when they're racing or just on track days. Let me know if you want more videos like this, or if you have any questions, maybe it's something you were struggling with out on track, send me a message and I'll be happy to cover it in a video. Or if you have any video ideas, let me know. I'm going to end the video there. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.